And I can see why sometimes people have a tough time understanding how. But I think once we go back to, all right, so do we have waste? How do we minimize it? How do we reduce it? How do we eliminate it if we can? If we start asking ourselves those type of questions, we're going to be able to always find clear connection between lean and sustainability.
Good. Sam, how do you align sustainability goals with these lean initiatives?
Well, I think David answered it very well. You know, the core of lean is looking for waste and eliminating it. So now we often tend to ask the question of where the waste, and sometimes I've started to see initiatives such as, you know, we have too much high energy consumption at the site. There's some changes that we have to make. So these type of initiatives, you wouldn't see them, you know, years back, but now they're definitely more and more visible. And if you align the core concept of lean, of eliminating waste, to say I want to you know, reduce my energy consumption or my carbon footprint, the same principles will apply. You know, if you're looking in terms of a product itself, if you're reducing your scrap, well, then you're making less cartons, you're scrapping less elements, and definitely improving sustainability in that sense. So they go hand in hand. But honestly, David, you really nailed it with your answers. So I don't have much to add.
Thank you.
Good. So, Kelly, I don't know if you have new ideas, but what role does sustainability play in companies' lean strategy, and how does it impact the bottom line?
I think they're inextricably linked, as David said. You know, by very definition, the relentless pursuit of waste is to look at how do you minimize these things, whether it's people, effort, resources, the consumables in your process. Shell's in a bit of a unique situation in the energy transition as we move away from carbon fuels, you know, and to more low carbon offerings, you know, away from into more electric vehicles, for example, and away from conventional oils. And the customer requirements and the environment in which we operate are dictating that. So it's absolutely pivotal to meet our business objectives, to be able to find low carbon solutions, the minimization and elimination of waste. It affects productivity and handling, but it also affects, you know, our relationship with the supplier, the economy, the economics of how we do work internal to the plant, using resources efficiently, and making sure that we're delivering to the customer in a responsible way based on the values of the society that we're a bigger part of.
And I think that this should be one of the top priorities for all the companies around the world. And I think that without doubt, this lean way of working is going to help to get better results. So yeah, good. So with that, the last topic for today is remote work and lean. Okay, because I think that after the COVID, this is still one of the trend topics. So as remote work becomes more and more prevalent, it's crucial to adapt lean practices to ensure productivity and collaboration remain high. So how are you adapting lean practices to maintain productivity, collaboration, continuous improvement, and this level of engagement of everyone? So Sam, how have you adjusted your lean practices to accommodate to this remote work?
So that's a good question and a touchy subject, I would say, Victor. So obviously, you know, after the pandemic, like most companies, are working from home policy has changed a little bit to allow more and more. But the truth is, we're a pharma manufacturer, right? We're here to make medication. We're here to be on site. We ask our people to be on site to run the machines every day. So there's a certain work that can be done from home, but there's a certain presence that you need to be on site, on the shop floor, seeing what work is being done, seeing where the waste is, that cannot be eliminated. So we allow some flexibility from work from home, as we would say, But I think if you work in manufacturing, it's very, very difficult to adapt. There's no replacement to being on the shop floor and seeing where the true work happens. So if you're working, let's say on some data analytics or an Excel file, and you're at home doing your thing, that's fine. But if you're doing a Kaizen event, you're trying to improve a specific process, you need to be on site. And so far, I haven't found the solution for it, but I'm open to hear what you guys have to say about this.
It's not easy because I think that one of the principles is go to the shop
Gemba.
floor, go to the Gemba, right? So it's not always easy, but as you said, maybe we still need to reflect about how to keep improving this. So Kelly, what strategies have you implemented to ensure lean practices are effective in a remote work setting?
Very similar to Sam in terms of the impact after COVID. Our assets are mainly manufacturing focused, although we do have some support functions that can be done remotely without impact. But when it comes to supporting the manufacturing environment, you need people to be at Gemba. From a safety perspective, you need to support people day to day with the dilemmas that they face, and that cannot be done remotely. And so it's really about making sure you have a fit for purpose balance, depending on the type of work that you do, and that balance, affords you a simple approach, that it has a disciplined approach, and it drives performance in the right direction. We've seen lots of studies that say that remote work and work flexibility motivates people in their job, and that there are a lot of benefits, but it has to be fit for purpose for the type of work that you're doing, and generating value as a result of that arrangement.
Good. David, what are your thoughts about this possibility of remote work and how you combine with the lean practices?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's hard, right? There's going to be roles that will ask us to be there in person. Now, I've have experience, roles where I'm supporting sites around the globe. For those, I personally like to use different strategies, right? So my last role, I had people in Europe, in Mexico, in Brazil, and the US. So simple, we would have a quick touch base in the morning, right? The other thing that we would make sure, or I would make sure as leader, is being very transparent, clear, try to be as concise as possible, right? Because when you're working remotely, you can go on and read an email, but you want to be concise, so you want to get to the point. Especially English not being my first language, sometimes I tend to over communicate or over articulate. The other thing that I usually think about is how do we leverage the tools, the resources we have at our disposals, right? So we have people in a group that are going across different regions or different plants. So making sure we're all connected. So if Victor, if you're going to Spain next week, and I need something from that site, so I'll connect with you. Victor, can you please help me with this? When you're there, can you go talk to Jose and make sure that you touch base on this? So having those connections, expanding your network and work your network, I think it's crucial and critical when you're in a remote work environment. And I'm gonna go back to every time we get a chance, I still touch base in person. I still like to do that, right? Every time we're in the same place, connecting face to face, and even though we're face to face right now, but face to face in person, I still think that is not replaceable. Personally, we can make the most out of it, in my opinion, but I think that is still my preference.
I have the same feeling, but I think that at the end, this remote work maybe bring to the companies more options, but I still think that there is no one solution for everything, for everyone. But I think that we need to still think about how to with these new challenges, how can we still improve the way that we are working with that? And I think that this is one of the challenges for the company.